Okay, team. I just did this for. I just made a recording of this for those who are interested in AI. But this is what I just made based on the customer story. So I'm really just making this video to show the team I'm working with on that. But here's how it is. Plays a video in the background, like we talked about. You can switch between these different customers. You can, like if there's videos, it'll play the videos automatically. Then you click explore use cases. We didn't really have designs for this. Andrew, interested in your thoughts here. But basically, you can have different use cases here to switch through, and then you can go back. So pretty simple. It's going to go on that screen. It's going to go on that screen in the tech, wherever that is. This screen. Hold on a second. It's going to go here in the tech on this wall with customer stories. So there we go. Oh, next step is to add some add like an editor feature for our team to quickly add new customers stuff to here. So it should be really easy to use. When you're in edit mode, there should just be like a button to add or edit, and you could just drag images on it or whatever. So it should be pretty straightforward is the plan. Hello. Okay. I thought I would make something with AI and I would share it with you, my process. I'm gonna make a completely different new feature, but I'm gonna do it inside of an existing system. So that's usually one of the hardest parts because, um, it's one thing to just talk to AI and then say go nuts. It has no problem doing that. The hard part is once you try and continue, because the other AI agent, inevitably you'll have another agent which will be walking in clean slate and saying, I want to help too. I'm going to build a whole new thing inside of this thing. And it's like, it can get messy. So building inside existing structures is kind of the trick. And the way to do that, I think, is to add build context very well. So basically communicate with the thing clearly. And that's interesting and tricky, and I'm still working on it. So let me show you what I currently have for fun, and what I'm going to add to it. So right now I have this thing. It's a few different things. First of all, it's the new VTech, so you can explore factories like this one, and you can click on these things, and this is the new VTech, right? It's just the new VTech, and you can do other cool stuff like search for things, and there's a whole management piece of it, and then there's the management piece of it lets whatever you create your own factories and stuff. And there's this factory editor, which is kind of neat, where you can like pick from, like I put an A track over here, and then I'll put an A track over here. And then maybe I'll move this one and rotate it or something. Not that I would put it there anyway, but this is sort of, and then you can add other stuff like stations and invention benches and stuff and whatever. This is just like a editor tool that you can eventually use to make factories. I'll probably cut that part out because this isn't what I'm talking about. But see, I'm building my new thing inside of this whole structure. I don't want to mess with it, but I want to use some of the same stuff like the CSS. I want to use the same Firebase thing I got going on. I want to use a lot of the same stuff. So what are we making? Well, this is Brennan's idea, or this is Brennan's thing. He's doing this. He bought a TV to put on the wall on the tech, and the idea was we want it to be able to display customer stories. So you could think maybe this is like a VTech, but not really, because it's just customer stories. We don't want to use that same model of a factory over and over again. If there's like a video of the customer's site and stuff like that, and then talk to Katie Sherbel and Gabby, and they want to they have this information about some of our customers. Some of the stuff is video. This could be cool. So this is like the data, I guess, that we want to show on the screen, but we don't want to just use PowerPoint. We want to do something better. And I talked to Andrew, and Andrew is a beast, and he made something awesome, and this is what we're going to build. So we're going to build this thing. So he has this, I'm not sure what he was working on this for the website maybe, but if you look, this screen spoke to me. This is where I think everything meets, the rubber meets the road. Wouldn't this be nice on that wooden board as a touchscreen, and you can push the customer's logos down here, and it shows some sort of notched out thing with a video in the background. This is pretty cool. It's pretty intuitive. I want to build this. But as you saw, the project I'm working on doesn't have any of this. So we have to make it. So that'll be interesting. And that's the plan, is to make this thing. But I can't just take a picture of this and send it to AI and say, go. You have to explain exactly what you want and why. So I'm going to take a shot at doing that. And I'm going to do that in a markdown file, or like just a text document, basically, so that when I talk to the agent, it'll be up to speed. So I decided that instead of just writing this thing, because I don't know exactly where to start or whatever, I'm just going to talk to an agent about this project so that it understands. So let me show you how I'll do that. And then so I'm not going to actually do anything with this agent. I'm just going to let it summarize the work for me. So the way Cursor works, basically, is it's VS Code. So you have your code base over here. This is the source directory of my project, and anything else that you would want in here that's normal for writing code. But what's special is that you have this Cursor rules thing at the top, which is just how you can talk to Cursor. And over here on the right is the most special thing, which is basically ChatGPT. But it's not ChatGPT in this case. I'm using Gemini right now, but I go between Gemini and Claude. They're both the ones I use, the thinking versions. Anyway, these are your chat windows, and you can talk to it. If I said hello, agent, I don't know what it's going to have in its head already, and we could check. But if I say hello, agent, start here, I'm referencing this document, which is here. And this document is my standard. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You need to read the rules. You need to read this. And I like to keep these really short. Like, look how short this file is. This is short. And then the general rules is pretty short. Just talks about like the different modes I want it to work in. Then I give it a really high overview of like what the heck is the VTech anyway. And that's it. And then it knows what's up. So, hey, agent, start here. I want to think with you. So I said think like that because think is a new mode. Think, plan, act, document. So I'm going to say, and I change these rules all the time. So, as you find things that are better, you start putting them in things. So I don't know, whatever. I've just been changing these all the time. So think with you about a new feature, which will be an interactive touchscreen in our experience center that displays customer stories. It won't be available from the normal VTech homepage, but it will use some of the same services like user auth and Firebase. Please let me know when you are ready to discuss it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. And I'm gonna have this conversation with it. It's gonna ask me clarifying questions about it. I don't know all the answers, so I'm gonna have to think about this a lot harder than I currently have. And between me and this AI agent, we're gonna come up with a pretty decent idea of how this thing works. And then we're gonna store that at a high level so that the next agent I talk to knows sort of the boundaries that it's working in. But we're going to make new decisions with me and that agent, and so on and so forth. So I have to do that. Actually, I might as well just show you how I talk to it, because this is this whole all you're doing is talking to these agents. So I might as well just let you see like how I talk to them. I'm not sure if you're gonna watch all this because this can take hours, you know. But maybe there'll be something interesting. I don't know. So he read my rules and stuff. Figures out, says, I'm ready to think through this with you. Can you clarify a few points? Perfect. I asked it to ask clarifying questions, and clearly I wasn't. I barely gave it any understanding of what I'm doing. I gave you guys on this recording more information about what I'm doing. So it has a lot of has a lot of catch up to do. Where will it be stored? If he's asking question one, I like to say one, then two. It helps me actually keep track of what's going on. Interaction. Well, how do you envision the user's interactive touchscreen? Is it primarily browsing, selecting stories? Will be search, filtering? It's just browsing and selecting stories. Here is an image of the main screen. You can see that it's pretty simple. Let's get a picture of that screen. So this thing's pretty cool because it can accept pictures, which I like. Now, where did I put the dang? Here it is. So we'll just copy this. It's a PNG. And paste it. Now, I'm under no impressions that... I'm not trying to get this to copy this right now. Later on, later on when I'm talking to like a UI agent who's actually writing the UI, I'll show this again, and I'll probably make some changes or who knows what. But right now, I just want it to get a sense. Okay, so 3... Authentication. You mentioned using auth. What's the purpose of authentication on a public-facing touchscreen and experience center? The website itself is public, and we will have some admin tools for uploading customer stories. We want this stuff to be private. To the open internet. But nothing is sensitive. This is the other thing. I'm not using any sensitive data. Like, honestly, these customer stories are already on our website. So this isn't anything sensitive, and I haven't been working with anything sensitive. If I was working with something sensitive, I'd have a lot of different advice to give you because I'm sure it's different, but I'm not working with anything sensitive at all. Users don't need to log in unless it's an admin, and in that case, they will already be logged in and will just have access to different features. Hope that's clear. Relationship to VTech, how separate should this be? Are we thinking of a distinct deployment new area? Not a different deployment, same project, same Firebase, same hosting, just a different route. Okay. So that's giving some clarity here. We'll see what other questions it has. It must have questions. It should still be thinking and not acting. If it starts acting, I'm going to shut it down because it's going wild. Nice. It's still in think mode. So that's the other thing. Is I always ask it to tell me what mode it's in, so I know. If it said act, I've been like, cut it. Cool your jets. Okay. Then you want to read it, make sure it understands. Because this thing's actually going to summarize my plan to another agent, you know? So I just wanted to understand. And Gemini is a good robot for this. So I need to give it a different understanding, because my opinion of how this was supposed to work, honestly, was more like this, which was like you have a high-level customer object. Imagine this as an object instead of a table record. And then, you know, you'd have use cases. So there would be like use case 1, use case 2, use case 3. So I think it's actually more like this than what it's describing. And I'm going to stop here because this is how I do it. I'm just going to do this, and then when it's done, I'll stop. I'll start back again. So it's a significant shift, moving from a simple display to a 2-level navigation with animations. Yep, but you're my AI friend, and you should be able to help me with this. I believe in you. All right, so me and this agent are on board with each other, and I feel like its context is pretty full, so I'm hesitant to let it just rip on this project. So I'm asking it to basically save. I'm saying, you know, this plan makes sense. I think you should. We're going to build all the UI first. We're not using any real data right now. I just want to see the UI come together with some basic stuff, and then record this in this document. So I made a document, record it, keep it high level. Don't make a detailed implementation plan. They love making like do this, then this, then this. I'm not going to follow that. It's things are going to get wild. I just want to have like a North Star. So give me the North Star. I can say this is going to be our North Star. So I don't want too much detail in it. I just want to make sure that it's following the general principle. Make sure to emphasize the importance of reusing our existing Firebase structure, etc. Boom. So now it's going to write this document. I'm going to look at it, and then I might let this agent take a shot at it. You know, why not? Usually Gemini is pretty good, so it's possible this agent could actually hit it. But at this point, I'm in a pretty good spot because basically any agent's gonna do well here. But let's look at it. I'm gonna stop recording, but I'll let you know if I may. Well, as it turns out, it just went right into it's going. It's just going. Even though in my rules it says explicitly do not act unless you're told to. Because I told it to do this, the floodgates are opened and this thing is just moving along. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm just reading its document here, but it's just going. You can see it's just doing, you know. And you can see the files that it updated, you know. And I had some I have to save actually from previously, but whatever. It'll be fine. So, and if you're worried, you can always revert. Like if this, and I do it all the time. Like sometimes when they get a little overzealous and start just acting without my approval, I will see what they did, and if it's better, I'll be fine, and if it's bad, I'll just revert. But sometimes I let them go, let them cook a little bit. Okay, let's read. So initial view got it. So it's talking about like core principles, reuse existing stuff, simple, maintainability. It's doing a good job summarizing this stuff. Initial view, got it. Okay. 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 This is nice. Yeah, I mean, this is summarizing it for the most part. Let's see what it did. That's not bad. Hey, that's not bad. I'll take that. Oh, let me move my. Let me move myself. I mean, it's not obviously it's not perfect, but check this out. Like, the sliding is kind of nice, right? And then the use cases is not bad either. We got use cases for this guy. So there's a few issues with this, but like overall, that's not bad. All right, so instead of working with this agent any longer, I mean, I can ask it, but instead of working with this agent any longer, I'm probably going to start getting bad code because, I mean, first of all, it added images it knows we don't have. That's sort of like a hallucination, like it sort of hallucinated that. And then it doesn't look much like the picture. So I want to focus on getting it looking just like the picture. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm catching myself wanting to be like, okay, agent, thanks for all that good work. Now forget all that stuff and focus on making this picture. I can't tell it to forget all that stuff. It doesn't, that's not how it works. It can't forget. It has to know everything in its context. Instead, I need to actually talk to a new agent. So I can say thank you. And then just so they don't kill me when they can, and I'm gonna start a new one. And now it's like I'm starting from scratch again. This agent knows nothing about this. If I said, hello agent, help me with this thing, it would be totally lost. So this is why it's important to do it the way I think I do it. Hello agent, start here. I always say, hello agent, start here. I need your help with the UI for this new feature we are making, customer stories. So now it has all that context, basically. Think only. I need you to look at this image. And I'm going to paste the image from here. Paste this image. And there's actually MCPs that let you do this directly, but I haven't installed that. Look at this image of how it should be designed. We probably have a lot of these colors in our app CSS Tailwind situation. And when it comes to images for our sample data set, we might need to find some online, and I can give you those. Cool. So I asked it to do this. So this is a new agent. And it's a different model. This isn't even Gemini. This is Claude. Why did I switch? I don't know. But see, it knows what's going on here. So the structure is clearly defined in Firestore. Okay. The data is not yet in Firestore, but I don't want you to worry about that. I just want you to get the UI looking right. That's all we need to work on. So I'm being very clear, you know, and you have to be really clear to these AI agents, because if you're not clear, it's going to make up something. So see, it wants to create the basic component structure. See that? It doesn't know that the other agent made stuff, because how would it? I need you to stay in think mode and look at the existing files within the, where directory is it in? Source, features, experience, stories. So it didn't even know. It would have just started going. So it's important that I have those modes, because it said plan mode. It wants to do this, wants to ask me. You know, it's very possible that you could start a conversation with an agent, and the first thing it does is start building. And it's, you know, it's what it wants to do. So you have to sort of like contain it a little bit. And I haven't even started integrating it with the existing system, really. I mean, it kind of is. I'm keeping it in its own little world. But the data is coming from the same place. It's going to use all the same hooks and services and all that kind of stuff. So I have to make sure I walk it through that when the time comes. Okay. They don't look anything like the design right now. Here is an image. So it thinks that it looks like it, which is not great. And you can actually add an MCP so it can do this on itself. Experience, stories. So I'm going to tell it the animations work well, though. Let me give you some media to use so we can see it a little. All right, so I just gave it some media to look at. Now it's planning. Yes, act. I'm just going to tell it to go because it should have the context. It's going to improve the styling a bit. Let's just let it go. And you know, I'm using Vite, so you can. There's like hot updating that happens. Let's just see what happens. You know. I should start seeing. You know, I had this on two screens, and then like I'm watching it happen in real time. But I'll just switch back and forth. So we'll see what happens. You know, see how it did like this media thing going on here. It does some stuff that's interesting. And another thing to check really is like how big are these files? Sometimes it didn't really add that much. It has this stories page which is like 274. This is, you know, if they start getting to be 300, 400, 800 lines, something's wrong. It's never going to be able to keep that in its head. It's just going to get lost and build more inside of it. So usually like it's a runaway train. If it's 800, it's going to be 1600 soon. If it's 600, it's going to be 800 soon. So you want to make sure you nip that in the bud if you can. Let's see. I'm not really seeing any. Let's just see use cases thing. It does look kind of nice. The way it acts. I kind of like it, but it's not lifted up right. We'll see. So I'm just tweaking it a little bit. I said, hey, look, this panel is too far down. The panel's too far down. It should be up here. And then I don't see the movie. I should see the movie. And then I'll probably end up picking different logos. But see how this thing is behind it? That's not good. I want it to be above it. I want it to be up here. There we go. So now it's up. How up is it? Good. I'll change this background color, but that's not bad. And where's the movie? So the logo did move. That's good. Where's the movie? Okay. See use cases. Yeah, so this is getting pretty close, honestly. This would be a nice little screen. I don't hate it. I'm probably going to make it so that the Mac logo or whatever, if you look at the use cases, the logo's up here instead of here. It's like way up top. And it always has the back button. Oh, I mean, yeah, it always has the back button to go back to the customers up here. Like it should be an easy click instead of somewhere down here. So now I'm in the meat of troubleshooting with this agent. And this is what I meant by like that first agent I talked to. I wasn't going to be able to get through this with that agent in one shot. It's just not going to happen. The second agent is fighting a little bit to get it done. And I have a very specific goal in mind, you know? I'm trying to the video's not loading. That's my problem. That's what we're working on right now. The video's not loading. Why isn't the video loading? Oh, look at that image. That looks kind of nice. That looks kind of nice. The video's just not playing. Play. I'll have to make sure I gave it the right video or something. But that looks kind of nice. Anyway, I'm going to be fighting this thing a little bit longer, and soon I'm going to give up on this one because I'm clouding its brain with all kinds of issues, and it needs to have a clear head to be able to execute code. So I have to keep ditching the agents and getting new ones as it happens. So I gave it some of the embed code directly from Widen to see how it would work. And let's go back to customers. Okay, now the video's working. Now we're talking. That's not bad. I kind of like this thing. I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to keep tweaking it a little bit longer. I've only been working on this for like 30 minutes or something. So it's starting to come out pretty good. It's looking good. You can check these out. That's not bad. And then you can click on see more use cases. You should switch between these. I think this is pretty decent, honestly, for like a little There we go. And as you can see, it's just like continuing to make it look more and more like the design and what I would like. Although I want this to autoplay in the background. That's important. It has to happen. And then we got to put the notch in here, which is going to be a pain to make that notch, I bet. I don't know. But I don't think it's bad, honestly. This thing will be done pretty soon. I have to just get real logos in here. I'll put some fake customers in. And then I got to make an admin panel so that other people can do this. And I'm not... I don't like being the bottleneck for anything. So if I can not be the bottleneck here, that would be great. There should be like a login and something so you can add new ones here and just keep it fresh. Also, it's nice to be nice to them. This is looking much closer. Good job. You know, and then we need to focus on getting that video to autoplay. I think this is a parameter in the URL, right? Give it a little hint. Figure that out. And if not, you can even say, search the web for how to autoplay Widen videos. Or I could even go to the Widen documentation and be like, go look at this. But we'll see. Loop 1. I actually want the loop all the time. Not just one loop. I want it to forever loop. See, it's like making assumptions. I never told anything about looping. So like it's going to make assumptions if you're not clear. And as it turns out, we humans are not clear. So I had to go look up how to do the autoplay myself and tell it, because Widen, Widen's not a very well-known DAM or whatever, or maybe it is, but this doesn't know about its syntax. So sometimes this is why you're supposed to pick things that are well-known. Oh, look, looks like it's running. Nice. That's pretty cool. So look, this is what it looks like. That's not bad. That's not a bad thing. I kind of like the way this looks. And then see use cases. Bingo. Bango. Yeah, we're getting real close now. I like this. I like it. Yeah, I'll make some small changes and then we'll be pretty close. Okay, so it looks pretty good, but it's not good enough, and the agent I'm working with has lost its mind. It's not giving me any good, it's not understanding what I want, and I have to switch. So, but yeah, overall, this is looking pretty decent. You can switch between these things. Sometimes it's video, sometimes it's images, whatever, and then you can go in here and click see use cases, and you can explore the use cases, and that would play different images. And this is exactly what I wanted. So we're pretty close. Let me talk to a new agent, and I'll show you that, because this is the whole thing, right? I was working with this agent and I just saw it wasn't working right. So I'm going to copy these, go to the agent and say, I'll move myself over here so you can see. But basically, hello agent, start here, nothing unusual. Please get familiar with this new feature we are almost finished implementing, and it's called customer stories, right? Customer stories. I need help specifically with the carousel button and logo handling in general. Carousel button styling. Do not act, think only. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to ask it to do this. And describe very clearly what I want. Now, it has context now. It's not like totally going into this blind. It knows a good deal about what it's doing and what already exists. Well, maybe it doesn't know what exists. Please look at what exists already in the carousel and related components. Panel should be in the carousel. Yeah, there. So I'm just making sure it knows what's up. Take a look at this code, figure it out. No navigation, previous next, right? No, right? That's the problem, the different dimensions. Okay. I need help with two things. One, the logos end up being so small I can't see them. Logos will probably be delivered like this, so we should replace our existing logo with these. Oh, I don't have it anymore. Is selected. It should have no margins around it. It should occupy the full height of the carousel container on the bottom of the screen in its highlighted background color. Cool. Let's see if that works. Is a new agent going to be able to take care of it? Because the first one totally messed it up. So if this other agent can do it, now it's going to start, it's still thinking, this is nice. Because I was expecting it to act. Okay. Do you have any questions? We don't need to keep the previous carousel button div structure if it makes it difficult. Here is what it should look like when selected. And I'll just set up the image one more time. Where's my image? So I'm just asking, like, do you have any questions, any clarifying questions for me before I let you loose? And then sometimes when you ask that, it's like, actually, yeah, I do have some questions. Yeah, okay, act. So it didn't have any questions. I'm just going to let it act. And we'll see. And if it fails, then I'm not asking the right questions. I'm not doing this right. Well, let's see what happens. I would expect us to have different logos here, for them to be big logos, and for it to take up the entire thing. So let's see. I didn't add the notch. Oh, okay, so halfway there. Except why is it doing that? It's probably in the middle of fixing this thing. So it broke the border here, which is not what I wanted. And it's shrinking and expanding, which is not what I want either. But see, that's my fault. I wasn't clear. I said in the selected state. It's saying about the unselected state. So let's see. Maybe it's actually still doing it. I was gonna say, you did a good job with occupying the full height when the carousel item is selected. However, it should always occupy the full height. Selecting it only changes the opacity and background color. Also, for some reason, you introduced a space between the info panel and the top of the carousel. They should touch. I'm going to interrupt this agent because it's going off on some sort of wild goose chase anyway, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to fix the things that I asked it to fix. So hopefully I'll see these things lock in center, but I don't know why the logos are so dang small. What the heck is that all about? And why does it have these double... I don't know why it's doing this double div thing. So this agent is messing up the buttons on the bottom, and I might actually have to go in and write this code. I don't want to touch code at all, but it has divs on divs and divs, and I'm like, just make it a flex row with divs in it and put the image in the thing. Make it full height. Don't overcomplicate it. So that's what I told it to do. I'm hoping that we'll get some results here because it cannot figure out these dang buttons down here for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, now we're looking better. Good, good. That looks better. Yeah, okay, this is better. This is better. Better. Let's tell it to occupy the full height. That way the width of the that way, you know, we'll do, right now it's doing something with its width, but if we do full height, it'll actually, this is the library logos are busted. We should use other logos. Hold on. Okay, this agent finally got it figured out. All I need to do is have an agent later help me with the editing. So again, I don't have to do this. You can just have an edit button and you can just drag and drop icons, like logos in here. But that's how I built with AI. That's how it works. That's a full thing. That was, I don't know, an hour or something. And it's not bad. Not bad. Let's see. Is this working? If I click on here, yeah, I'd like it to be a little bit bigger, honestly, but so I'll probably make it a little bit bigger. But actually, what does that look like? Oh, okay. That's why it's very small. I'll tell the agent to fix that. Or I can fix it myself, but I don't want to touch any code. Anyway, that's how this thing works. I hope that was interesting and helpful. I don't know, but that's how I do it.